Hello everyone, it is your boy Winster and I am back at it again with another deck profile video, more specifically a Ghoti one. Now I know there's going to be someone in the comments saying, it's not pronounced Ghoti bro, why are you saying it wrong? Listen bro, this is my video and I could say shit however the fuck I want. But I do want to thank you for giving me your input, I do appreciate it. When you decide to do a deck profile, you can say however the fuck you want. Until then, it's going to be called Ghoti. Now, with that being said, I hope everyone is having an amazing day. It's about midway through of November, and I don't know if a video is going to come out around Thanksgiving. So I do want to say happy Thanksgiving for those who do celebrate it. I hope you spend quality time with your family. And for those who don't, I hope you guys have a great rest of your year. It's crazy how fast this year went by. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification. I do have a lot of other video ideas coming through. I'm just waiting to get those cards. But be sure to check out all my social media, my Discord, my Twitch. Everything's going to be in the description below. Also, I do have a combo video for Ghoti, so if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to post it somewhere up here. So go check that shit out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. So when I was building the deck, I was thinking, what is the easiest way to synchro summon? I added a lot of tech cards that allow me to synchro summon faster and easier. Also, thinking about today's format, Tearlament and Shizu by far the strongest deck right now, and right behind that is Sprite Runic. So I was thinking of those matchups when putting together certain tech cards to allow the matchup to be a little bit more in my favor. Luckily, Ghoti does banish everything, so we could play a lot of the banishing cards. I'll definitely go over everything. And as far as the extra deck, there are a couple of things that I added as a little spice. So we're going to go ahead and go over that. But more importantly, let's go ahead and go through the main deck first. So we're going to go through the Ghoti cards first, where you play 3 copies of Pieces. This card's amazing. It dodges cards like Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler. It banishes for cost, and you can special summon any fish from your hand. There's no requirement other than it can't be itself. Obviously, during your opponent's standby phase, if it was banished the previous turn, you can special summon this card, and it has a quick effect for a synchro, but you have to go into other fish. So the next Ghoti, we play 2 Shift. This card's okay. I do think this card could get a little cloggy. You don't want to play it at 3. Playing at 2 is fine. You could honestly play this at 1 if you want to bring the deck count a little bit lower, but it's a little bit difficult at times, right? Considering once your opponent understands how the deck works to get him into the grave. Obviously, there are cards in the deck that send him to the grave, but he banishes from the grave to increase the attack of 1 fish monster by 500. It's okay. It's not as good as Paces, but just keep that in mind. The next Ghoti is Zeep. Omen of the Ghoti. It's a level 4. Anytime a fish is banished outside of the damage step, special summon this from your hand. He can chain block on certain cards. Also, it's pretty nice to have a level 4. I would maybe play 3, but I'm scared that it might be a little too cloggy. So playing 2 is actually what I think the best ratio for this card. The next Ghoti is Zeep, Ruby of the Ghoti. This card is very similar to Paces and Shift, whereas Paces and Shift get special summoned during the standby phase, and you could choose when to synchro. Whereas this needs to be banished on your opponent's turn, and when it is, you special summon it to go into a quick synchro. So because of that, I think you only need to run 1 of this. So the last Ghoti is Snopios, the Shade of the Ghoti. Him being a level 6 is the only reason that he's in this build. He does have some okay effects. One, when he's specialed, you target 1 card in the field, banish that card when it leaves the field. Usually end up using that effect on himself so he could have some recursion. Also, when he's banished, you banish 1 fish in the grave, add him back to your hand. The way you special him is that you banish a fish in your grave, 2 fishes in your grave and or hand, and then you get to special summon as a quick effect. Onto the other fishes of the deck, we play triple copies of Beautiful Princess. This card is amazing. You could potentially chain block with this and Omen. You could banish this for cost, special summon any level 4 or lower fish from your deck, and if that monster would have an effect, you could go ahead and activate that monster's effect and then chain Omen because a fish was banished. Luckily, this card got a reprint. This shit was like $10 for a fucking rare. Thank God it just got recently reprinted in Magnificent Mavens. The next fish is triple copies of Lifeless Leaf Fish. This is what you would usually summon off of Beautiful Princess. This is just a foolish for any fish that you need in the grave. Also, like I said earlier, if you had Omen, because Beautiful Princess was banished, you could special summon this and then chain Omen to this effect, and then that way you could chain block. That way you make sure that your lifelessly fish does resolve. Also has a graveyard effect. Target banish this card for cost. Target 3 other fishes, add them to the deck, and then you get to draw a card. The next fish is we play triple copies of Abyss Shark. This card is phenomenal, guys. If you control at least one water monster and only water monsters, you could go ahead and special summon this from your hand, and at the same time search a level 3, 4, or 5. The only drawback, you could only special summon a water monster for the rest of the turn. He has another effect. He could be used as a level 3 or 4 number monster. It doesn't matter what it is, but obviously it could only be water, which is pretty great in my opinion. We also play triple copies of Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth. Guys, this card is fucking crazy. Discard 1 card for cost. So you could special summon as many fish level 4 or lower monsters from your deck as you can. Their effects are negated and they can attack, but it doesn't matter because you're going to go into synchro plays with this, exceed plays. Also, you could set up for the following turn to play on your opponent. He has another effect, you know, if a card were to target him, you could tribute 1 fish on the field and negate the effect, but that doesn't really ever come up. This card is amazing. We play 2 copies of Royal Swamp Eel. This sucks because this is the only level 4 fish tuner in the entirety of the game. It took such a long time to find this card, but his drawback is that anything synchroed with him has to be a fish, which is all your deck, so it doesn't really come up. But if you're planning to play a different build, keep that in mind. This card was a little hard to find, and what you're usually going to summon off of Deep Sea Coelacanth. Lastly, we play 2 copies of Silent Angler. If you control water monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. It sucks, there is a drawback. You can't special summon anything else from the rest of the turn from your hand. So he's usually going to be the last play. But in all honesty, the fact that he's a level 4 and a free body is pretty nice. We're going to get into the hand traps now. I played 10, technically 9. One of them is a brick. But I wanted the most impactful hand traps for today's meta when I was putting this together. I wanted something that's going to be able to fight Runic Sprite, Tier Shizu the best, and that fit with the deck. We play triple copies of Gamma. A lot of the time, we're going to be banishing Beautiful Princess Paces to activate effect. And this, if this is in our hand, we're going to be able to just negate whatever they try to counter us with. And also, oh yeah, don't let me forget the driver. On your opponent's turn, when you end up synchro climbing, you usually end up on Ghoti of the Deep Beyond, and you clear the board. If they were to have cards to still activate after the fact, you'll have nothing on your field and be able to get this for free. And then he's a level 2 tuner, and this being a level 6, you could go into level 8 plays, which is also great. Again, I wanted the most impactful hand traps. We play triple copies of Nibiru. This card, it goes the same thing as like Gamma. When we go into Ghoti the Deep Beyond, we usually don't have anything on the field, and your opponent wasted a lot of resources. In the situation where they have even more to be able to be used, you could use this and then just stop them in their tracks. The last hand trap, a lot of people aren't going to like this, but we play triple copies of D-Shifter. I decided on this. This is by far the most impactful, in my personal opinion, considering today's format. Today's tier limit is Shizu Sprite Runic meta. Also, it allows us to play the way we want, banishing our cards and playing our opponent's turn and banishing all their shit. So this is really vital, and also it allows us to live in the format. So going into the spells, a lot of these are tech cards that I think best fit with the deck. And again, that would mean that they are wiggle spots and that you don't have to play them if you don't want to. And that way you could be able to be at a clean 40, because again, not a lot of people want to play 45, but triple copies of the most distant, deepest depths. This card's phenomenal. It's a searcher of the deck. Banish any fish from your hand as cost, and then add any Ghoti that you need. Also has a graveyard effect. If a fish is special or normal, while this is in the grave, target and banish its cost, a fish in the graveyard, and then add this. And then when you control a synchro, this can't be destroyed or banished. You want to see combo every single time. One thing though, I don't think this deck struggles too hard with consistency, but considering some cards need other cards to activate or resolve, I think you should definitely play triple copies of Prod of Prosperity. The one thing though is that the extra deck is a little tight, and you kind of need a lot of the cards in there, in my personal opinion. There are some that you could get away with, but I definitely think that running triple copies of this to see combo every single time is really important. Tech cards, we play one Called by the Grave. I mean, there's not really much to say here. Another tech card, we play one Gold Sark. This card is, in my opinion, the more optimal one. You could play Foolish instead of this, but this is going to banish regardless, where Foolish is just going to send them from the grave. Yeah, you could activate some other effects, but the point is you need to get those fishes, shift, paces banished. Instant fusion, and I'll definitely show you the card that we play in conjunction with this, but this special summons any level 5 lower fusion. It's treated as a fusion. The important thing is just this is kind of like an extra monster. You don't have to play this, but this is really nice for the deck in my personal opinion. The last tech card, we play Dimensional Fissure. This is going to help us out with the Teeleman and Shizu matchup, Sprite potentially, because they don't really need to send everything to the grave. They just need to like build their board. But this is going to banish every monster, thus allowing your place to go off. Onto the extra deck. Replay 14. I'm missing a card, and I'll let you know what I am missing. But a lot of these cards you don't have to play, but I think some of these are a must. This is one of them where you don't. We play one Rare Fish, level 4 fish. It helps us go into level 8 play, so it allows us to synchro climb. And also, it's a free body with instant fusion. But you have to be very careful because, again, if you activate instant fusion and you don't use the monster, it gets destroyed. So this is one of them that is a flex spot. We play one Abyss Keeper. This card is fucking amazing, guys. If you're able to build a board and combo with this special summons any fish from your hand. It can't be linked off the turn that it's link summoned, but whatever. We don't have any other link monsters. You do need to play this. We play one Abyss Dweller. Again, gonna help us out with that tier limit matchup. I do highly recommend this card. This is gonna help out a lot with today's format. We play one Stealth Kraken. We play one Bahamut Shark, and obviously since we play that, we play the one Totally Awesome. This is the Omni Negate. I think this is really good. It's very easy going to Bahamut Shark. It's just 2 level 4 water monsters, which this would bring this out for free. We play 2 copies of Ariampos. He's the best new support that we ended up getting with the most recent set. But other than that, he's also level 6, and he's generic. When he's synchroed, you banish any fish from your deck. Obviously, you're going to usually go for Ruby, because if you have a level 4 and a 2, you're going to go into him, and then him is going to go let you synchro climb into a level 8 and potentially going into a level 10. So he's really important. Also, when he's used as synchro material, you could banish any fish from your graveyard and add the same or lower fish from your deck to your hand. The usual level 8 that we're going to go into is Askin off of Ariampos. This banishes himself and a card that your opponent controls, and then when he's banished, you could go ahead and banish a fish and then special summon him, so you could still go into level 10 plays with him. Level 8 Synchro, Emancipator Ryzen Dragite. He's a Spell and Trap Negate, level 8 generic. Another card we're usually going to go off of Ariampos is White Aurora Whale. He's a level 8, destroys all face-up attack position monsters that your opponent controls, and he's a great way to synchro climb. So onto the level 10s, we play one Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Changing. He's a level 10, 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense, gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card, and your opponent's monsters lose that amount. If he were to be destroyed, you could banish a card instead. It's pretty good, and when a card is banished, you could banish one from your opponent's graveyard and field. I forgot to go over one level 8 Crystal Ring Synchron Dragon. I'm trying to get the ghost rare of this guy, so if anyone wants to help your boy out, let me know. We play Ghoti of the Deep Beyond. This card's fucking amazing, and if you special summon this on your opponent's turn, banish the whole field. It goes well with all your cards, and then when he's banished, he special summons himself the next turn, and then he gains 500 attack for every monster that's banished. As the last card I would play, I don't have it, so you have to picture it right here, guys. It's a Baronne de Fleur. It's a level 10 synchro. Obviously, you would play that. It's super easy to go into with this deck, but it sucks that I don't have it. If anyone has an extra, please send it to me. Going into the side deck, again, putting this together, thinking about the best decks in the format. I made this deck for a competitive format, but we play triple copies of Dimensional Barrier. You're obviously going to call fusions or anything that's giving you problems and make sure that your opponent can't play. We play triple copies of Evenly Matched, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. This card's fucking broken. A lot of the times you're not going to have too many monsters, so Evenly Matched just works. Triple copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. You don't play a lot of spells, so this card really doesn't affect you. And then we play triple copies of Dark Ruler No More in conjunction with Evenly Matched. This card is going to wipe your opponent's board, man. It's too fucking strong. And then lastly, for the side deck, we play triple copies of Lightning Storm. In all honesty, you don't have to play 3. I mean, you could play 2 and then 1 Cosmic, but having some sort of back row hate to stop your opponent from stopping us is very crucial. Okay, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of this deck in general. What do you think about my build? I personally think a lot of the monster ratios are a must. But again, there are some flex spots. Honorable mentions, More of Avarice is definitely a card that I would consider. But at the same time, I do think it could be a little bit cloggy. But it's free draws with this deck. Also, Macrocosmos is another one. The hand trap lineup, you could definitely play like Ash, Impermanent Effect Veiler. You could just cut out some of the cards that are the wiggle spaces that I play that you don't have to. Again, the extra deck has a lot of space. But let me know on what you think of all my ratios. But please, guys, help me out with the algorithm. Please subscribe. Please follow. Please like. Do everything. Check out all my socials. It means a lot. We're very close to fucking 700 subs. I didn't think I was going to get this far, honestly. But thank you to everyone who has supported. But until next time, guys, please be sure to check out the channel. My name is Winsor, and you guys have a lovely rest of your day.